Hello, hello, and welcome to another edition of WTF. What the footy? A couple of Yanks shooting blanks about Australian rules football. Joe, let me repeat that for the people in the back that didn't hear me. A couple of Yanks shooting blanks about Australian rules football.
I thought we could change it this time and maybe change our logo to a couple of nuffies talking fluffies about Australian rules football.
Tell you what,
Apparently, we're fluffy.
Well, there were some deep
We're
dives
nuffies.
that had to happen. That's Joe Rutter, sort of retired sports writer from the Pittsburgh Tribune Review. I am Richard Cranium this week, and I'm glad to be with you. And as Joe mentioned, we're a couple of nuffies because this past week we earned trolls on our social media accounts, and I feel like Joe, we've made it.
We finally arrived. We arrived.
We have arrived. We have arrived. Of course, my name is what is euphemism? Is that right?
Sounds good.
For what I was referred to.
Yeah.
In some of the comments. Thank you, Stewie. And then we were called Nuffies. We were called, I don't know, were we called Nuffies? Was I called a Nuffie? Were you called a Nuffie? I wasn't really clear on that.
I think they called us a bunch. They said a couple of Nuffies talking the love of AFL or something. And I hope it's Nuffies and not Nuffies. I don't know.
I don't know either, but I had to look it up. And here it is. In Australian rules football, a Nuffie is an obsessive, overly zealous supporter who is notorious for posting ill-informed, biased, or absurd opinions online. All right, let's stop right there. Okay?
Well, I don't know if we're notorious, but I like it that we're being considered notorious.
I do too. Overzealous?
Yeah.
Perhaps. I guess you could describe us that way. Biased? Absolutely.
Yes.
Right here is one bias. Right there is the other bias. Absurd opinions? Well, I mean, we don't like to think so, but I'm sure there are a few.
Yeah.
Shooting blanks, right? Let's continue. The term is typically used mockingly on social media, check, to describe fans whose takes, check, lack logic, maybe check.
I don't know about that.
Well, maybe it is me then. I don't know. Though it can also be used as a harmless, self-deprecating badge of honor. I do not think that is what it was.
I don't
in
think
this
that was
case,
the spirit in which it was intended for us. No.
Exactly.
Okay. But hey, I'll gladly wear it as a badge of honor. So,
I will too, and I thank those that commented on which video. What is it again? That you put up
it was
a
one
snippet.
of our clips about the. It was a clip we put on Instagram about the last 18 or the basically the strength of schedule for the going down the stretch.
Right.
The toughest and easiest schedule.
Right.
And I don't remember what it specifically talked about, but
and there was a certain complaint, and I'm not going to pile on Stewie because I mean he's probably 11 years old. Okay. The only complaint I will have for Stewie, other than calling me, Richard Cranium in his, own regular way, is that, he doesn't know the tagline for the show, and a lot of these trolls don't. And that's fine. We invite them to watch the show.
We'd love to have them watch the show.
And I'm sure they'll be even more sickened by what they hear. But anyway. But he seemed to think that we had come up with the list. And I mean, even though it's sourced right there,
Yeah.
you know, it's from the AFL. I mean, it was their list. They actually did it again this week. Did you see that, Joe?
I did not see that.
They like maybe they're going to do this till the end of the season and just release an updated strength of schedule list.
Yeah.
Every week. I thought for a second about doing it again. And well, maybe in a couple weeks when our popularity is waning, we'll put it back up and draw the ire of some of our adoring fans.
Yes, exactly.
You know,
we got a bunch of followers though, so I'll take it.
People that either do or do not. Yeah, I'm with you. How many views?
13,000 on that one clip alone.
Yeah, which is easily the most popular thing that Joe has posted. And again, bad or good, I thank you for paying attention. I thank you for watching. You know, keep throwing us the love, keep throwing us the hate. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got our trolls, and I think we've made it.
I think we have. And we also now have our more important matters. The goal, the song of the victory song of the week.
Well, and I'll say one more thing. I think it's kind of funny that this happened on Instagram. And this was like the one social media part of our venture that we kind of blew off for so long. And then we're posting koozies and causies, and you know, we're up till 3 a.m. watching footy. And then just I don't know. I would go so far as to call it nondescript clip.
Yeah.
About just strength of schedule. Not even hours. I totally cribbed that graphic.
And it was in a minute and a half. I'm not sure what exactly we touched on.
I don't know.
It picked up steam somehow, and we're happy.
Some nerves were touched.
Yes.
This past week. Anyway, Joe, you're exactly right. Let's get to our traditional segment at the beginning of the show, and let's talk about the victory song of the week. And, you know, I didn't realize how close to the bottom of the barrel as far as teams left we are.
Yeah.
But I mean, it makes sense. Oh, by the way, this is episode 18 for July 6th, 2026. I want to throw that in there because this is what? The 16th victory song of the week. The 16th, what I would say, exclusive victory song of the week. Joe has yet to repeat a song. Yes, he's yet to repeat a song, although he will be challenged in the next 7 weeks. Talk about that just for a second. But Joe, take us into this week's victory song of the week.
Well, there's a choice was two. Of two we didn't use. One was St. Kilda, which had a nice win. But how can you go against Greater Western Sydney for knocking off Freo?
Yeah.
I mean, and doing it in a fairly convincing fashion. It was a strong
win stopping that winning streak.
Yeah,
14-game winning streak.
Pointed back and a chance to maybe get back in the wild card hunt. So we will go with the Greater and Western Sydney. And I got to say, of all the songs, I have never heard this song until this week. But let's enjoy it.
Well, there's a big, big sound from the west of the town. It's the sound of the mighty Giants. Feel the ground is shaking. The other teams are quaking in their boots before the Giants. We take the longest strides and the highest leap. We're stronger than
he's got spirit.
We're the Greater Western Sydney Giants. We're the biggest and the best, and we will never surrender. We'll fight until the end. We're greater than the rest.
Hey!
Yeah.
What'd you say it was? I said Russian dance. What was it? Cossack.
The Cossack hat is what you needed.
Yes, because that's what it reminds me of.
Yeah.
Reminds me of some Russian dancing. That's a show tune.
It's called, there's a big, big sound. And also it says Arabian Riff 2012. Is that when they entered the league? And then that's when I don't know. I don't.
It's that fresh, huh?
Yeah, it's that fresh.
So
they did not
So they cribbed off a previous song, but it's like a contemporary. It's contemporary music.
I guess I don't know. I didn't know that much into the historical lineage. I just looked it up and saw that.
Well, I can't believe that, Joe. Can't believe you wouldn't want to do a deep dive on that, baby.
Oh yeah, I don't think that'll make my top if we do it again of the year.
Let's go to the next slide. There we go. So there's our list of the victory song of the week. I thought this might be a good idea since we are kind of getting not only toward the end of the regular season, the end of the regular fixture, as it were, but as you see on the bottom, we only got 2 teams left. We got the Saints and, of course, the West Coast Eagles. And, Joe, I feel like since they've won 4 games this year, we maybe had a chance to do the Eagles, but they've just kind of been pushed to the wayside, I guess.
Yeah, we kind of them down the ladder as they've kind of done themselves. We kind of waited on them thinking, oh, okay, they're playing so well, they'll get a win here or there. We can put them in there. But they haven't. And so they've kind of dropped. And schedule's not looking too promising the next 2 weeks to keep it, to keep it an uninterrupted, everybody being played on a win. So we might have a team in there somewhere.
What is it? It would be, let's see. So this was the 4th, 11th, 18th, 25. So episode 22 is the weekend before West Coast and Richmond, I think, right? Because it's the first week of August. I remember that. It's the first week of August that they match up, which would probably be the best time to get the Eagles in there. But who knows? Because as this past weekend proved, like any other weekend, and I got to keep this in mind, just a bunch of unpredictable results this weekend. Unpredictable things that happened. It was Carlton, of course, still, in my humble opinion, in Richard Cranium's humble opinion, best story out there.
And I didn't usually do this earlier. I didn't do it yet. 1, 2.
I was going to say,
3,
I was waiting.
4, 5. Second hand, 6
and
7.
7 in a row.
Straight wins.
They've gone from 1-7, or I'm sorry, 1-8 to 8-8.
And in those 49 days, they went from having the longest losing streak in the AFL to the longest winning streak. Think about that one.
Wow.
With Freo losing. They now 7 in a row by Carlton's their longest winning streak. And they had a 7-game losing streak. Or 6 or 7 before that.
They played Saturday morning.
I believe it's late Friday night here. Saturday.
Late Friday night, Saturday morning. So we woke up here on the East Coast Saturday morning.
Well, Saturday morning, no, they played this past Saturday. Yeah, here.
Okay.
They played this Friday night, I believe.
But we woke up Saturday morning to see the Blues in the number 10 spot.
Yep.
Which, of course, we've been talking about for what? 6 weeks? 5 weeks? I mean, it's 7 games. When did we start believing?
Well, we posed
number 3, maybe?
We posed that question right after they got their first win to stop the streak. That, hey, the way the schedule's set up, could they potentially get back into it? Yeah. And then after that, I think we intensified that after the second win. And then they beat Geelong, and you're like, okay, well.
Geelong was kind of the big one because then you're like, wow, this could happen.
Yeah. Then they had a favorable stretch of games. They had Richmond, they had GWS. They beat GWS. They had Richmond and West Coast. So now it gets tougher. They got Hawthorn this week. So it's an uphill climb, but hey, they got themselves in position.
And I got to tell you, my D's did not do the Blues any favors this weekend because that is going to be a hot Hawks team.
Yeah.
After what happened this past weekend.
Yeah, they're going to be upset.
I mean, I can't imagine they take being down 86-9 at the half.
Yeah.
I can't believe they take that lightly.
No, I can't think so either. And it's going to be a tough one. And I'm looking forward to it this weekend to see if Carlton can just hang with them. I don't know if they'll beat them, but just at least hang with them, make it competitive. down the stretch, but they've certainly turned into a fun team to watch. And the thing I like is I see all these weekly lists of, best players at each position. You never see a Carlton player mentioned, yet they've won 7 in a row. They're just getting it with, they're doing it with unheralded people, different guys stepping up each week. They don't have a bunch of stars, but they're playing like a team now, and they're playing like a good team.
I mean, you can't really say they're flying under the radar, right? I mean, after everything that happened,
I don't think so.
And for them to be now 8-8 after starting 1-8,
yeah, they're not flying under the radar, but they just don't. They don't have a they don't have a Nick Day cost. I mean, they have Patrick Cripps, who's doing well, but I think in this last and the coaches voting this last week, he got 1 vote for their win against George Hewitt. Got the most for them for 5. He got the most for them, and not
that you want to see Cripps getting 1 vote, but that's gotta give you a little more confidence in the rest of the guys.
It does.
If he's a 1 voter now again, this game against Richmond should not have been a 2-point game.
No,
and I don't think there's anybody on Instagram or anywhere that can disagree with that. Now, you can make the argument. Listen, they're on a 7-game heater. This was bound to happen, and in fact, a loss while it stung, may not have been a total shock for Carlton. But yet, once again, they survived. And they continue to survive. Even when their best players aren't playing their best games.
Yep. And they're holding on, finding ways to win. I mean, it was really tight at the end, and they had to sweat out every second, but they pulled it off, and they're right there. And it just, I really want to see how they rebound and play against against a good team like Hawthorn this week.
Let's get into some graphics for the Blues. There's our countdown, 81 days.
There we go.
Until the grand final.
Baggers rejoice. I like it.
Baggers. You know what? I try to come up with a little slogan every week. And that's just the one that kind of, so we woke up Saturday morning. They were in the 10th spot. And everybody's like, yes, but there were still games to play.
Yes. Including
the Roos. The Roos were the one that was going to ruin everything because they always do.
That's their MO, at least to us.
Yeah. Yeah, we ruin stuff. And they fell. They fell Sunday morning. So when we woke up here on the East Coast Saturday morning and Sunday morning, not only had they survived against the Tigers, they survived the Roos, and they spend the week in the number 10 position.
Yep. And, I can't imagine. I can't believe they got there. They did. Now let's see if they can stay there.
That's kind of my next question. I feel like they've gotten there 4 or 5 weeks early.
Yeah.
Because, didn't we think that if they were going to make any kind of run for a playoff spot, it was going to be down to the wire?
Yeah.
And that's why, we're looking at all these games and seeing who they got left and what it's going to take. We're saying, 4-3, 5-2, or I guess 5-3, 5-3, 6-2 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Where are those 6 wins going to come from? Now, all of a sudden, they're already in the 10th spot.
Yep, they're right there.
So you're right. It's not about getting there. It's about staying there, which sometimes is even harder, right?
And staying there and hopefully improving to the point where maybe they can get to 7-8 and get a home game for the, for the wild card run. I don't think they can get in the top 6, but if they can stay within 7 or 8, and at least get a home game in that wild card round, that would be.
Did I or did I not see something on social media? I think you're right because their percentage is still bad.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure I saw something on social media, and this will ring out when we show the ladder and we show what's going on. There are only 2 wins behind 4th, I think, on the ladder, which you would think is kind of ridiculous given the season they've had. But it was only a couple weeks ago that they were 2 wins behind 10th.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, look, here we are.
Yep.
Here we are.
And at the start of the stretch, they were about a game out of 18th. I mean, that's how.
That's right. That's
That's
right.
how
Sitting there with 4 points with Essendon, who had beaten Melbourne.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we're talking about here.
Yeah, and that also underscores the topsy-turvy nature this year. Other than, I mean, Brisbane's getting hot. You still got the two class teams, Geelong, or I mean, not Geelong, Sydney and Freo. But other than that, everybody's had some ups and downs, stumbled around a little bit.
Well, and that's what I was referring to because, we are what? We are 18 weeks through, right? 18 weeks through the regular season, 7 to go. And you cannot predict from week to week what's going to happen. I mean, I was on a 12-2 heater the last 2 weeks with my picks. 3-6 this week.
I also went 3-6, and I submitted mine,
wasn't even close.
I was supremely confident in my ability to get a lot of picks right this week, and I was embarrassed to go 3-6.
Yeah, it didn't happen.
Who expects GWS to pull the upset?
Right.
You've had a couple of those, and I thought Hawthorn would beat Melbourne. I didn't think. I thought they'd win that one easily, and they got smoked. So
I mean, they were without the wizard, Nick Watson. But I don't know. Does he close a 77-point gap in the first half?
Yeah.
I mean, that lead ballooned to what, 92?
Something like that, yeah.
Before Hawthorn just started kicking goal after goal after goal after goal, and I think the final margin was what, 30, 32, something like that.
I think 35 maybe.
Yeah.
And that helps their percentage at the end of the year, maybe, but that's
But I mean, that was just that was maybe, I mean, probably not. But as far as unpredictable goes, that kind of margin was probably up there with the Giants taking down Freo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go to the next slide, please.
And we saw the Giants, what they did to Brisbane earlier in the year. So they're capable. They're, a decent team. But
we started to think that was an anomaly.
Yep.
That third quarter was an absolute anomaly. And then the Giants turn around and beat the best team on the ladder. So now all of a sudden you only have a 1-game cushion between Freo and Sydney heading into their matchup this weekend. Let's talk about the Baggers, though, first, because, like I said, they're there. How do they stay there in 10th? Or how do, I think it's kind of funny that, I mean, are you serious about wanting them to improve their station at this point? I mean, I realize they're not going to be satisfied with 10th. They're going to want to win every game. But, I mean, is it realistic to get a home wild card game at this point?
It's stacked against them looking at the schedule, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But you're going to have to beat some of those teams in green or yellow to make that happen. And I know the big one for them is Collingwood. That's the big the rivalry game.
Yeah.
And if they can beat them and knock Western out, they have a chance.
Yeah. Yeah. So here's Carlton's remaining schedule. You see Hawthorn this week, and Hawthorn at number 3, and then, like you said, Collingwood is one of those wild card teams. Collingwood hanging in there. I mean, we thought those 2 games earlier in the year would cost them, and it still might.
Yeah.
It still might cost them, but you know what? They're in there. They're in there. They're not hanging around they're not hanging around 11, 12, 13.
Yeah.
They're in the mix. The Blues got a round 20 matchup with a Sun squad that is just,
just stunning.
Yeah. Brisbane, who's red hot, St. Kilda 22, Bulldogs 23, and then, my God, I mean, thank you, Mr. Schedule Maker, for giving us the ladder leader as the regular season finale.
And again, if Freo can rebound and play well the rest of the way, maybe they don't need to do anything in that last week, and they kind of relax a little bit, and that helps.
Yeah, maybe the Blues can get it. Yeah. Maybe the Blues can take them. But I mean, the schedule isn't awful, right?
No, it's a difficult, but it's doable. I mean, I
Yeah.
want to see how they fare against these teams. I don't want to see them playing the lesser weights, the Essendons and the Westerns or the West Coast and Richmonds. I want to see them play against the better teams, and they're going up against the number 3 team on the ladder right now.
Yeah. Of Hawthorn, Brisbane, and Frio, what is their best chance of those 3 teams? Do you think it's this week?
It might be. Yeah, it might be. I would not feel confident going, facing Brisbane when they do. Yeah, I think it's this week because you can't count on Frio at the end, having things wrapped up and taking
Right,
it easy.
sitting people and whatever.
Yeah. So this week probably is, but like you said, Hawthorne's coming off of a tough loss, and they're going to be wanting to get back up and prove that they can maybe. Because remember last week we talked about the old strength of schedule thing, how they had the easiest remaining schedule in the whole league, and that turned out and bit them in the behind.
Yeah, it did.
They're going to be wanting to get back in there because they have a real chance, I think, or at least they should think, to get in that top 2.
Hawthorne also, I mean, you got to think that Josh Frazier and his staff just absolutely pouring over that first half against Melbourne, that the Hawks just completely imploded.
Yeah.
9 points in a half. They had 1 minor in the second quarter. I think they had 8 after the first quarter. They had 9 for the first half.
Yeah, that's bad. That's embarrassing.
While the D's, I mean, let's give them credit where credit's due. They couldn't miss. They couldn't miss. Let's play. You know what? If they're going to give you $1 million to play there, Hawthorne, let's play there all the time.
Yeah,
exactly. Basically what the D's were saying, right?
Yep.
I think Maxey had another amazing game. I'm pretty sure he got a 10, perfect 10 this week. Latrell Pickett back in the squad, back in the mix, had a couple goals. So they had everything working for them.
They did, and that's the other thing is when you're holding a team to 1 behind, it also shows that you're dominating possession of the ball. You're moving it up and down. You're controlling it, and that's what you want to do. You want to keep the ball away from the other team, to create the scoring opportunities. Yeah,
you're in your 50 a lot if that's what's going on, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So I don't know. We'll see. I think the way Carlton's been playing, and they've shown they can play with the big boys during this 7-game streak. It's almost like they can play anything right now. They can play with the big boys. They can play with the small dogs. They can play blowouts. They can play close games. And all of them so far, they've been successful. But this week, they break the streak. How will they respond against Collingwood?
That's and maybe it's good that they have a rivalry game on the back end of this.
I think you're exactly right. Yeah. I think you're exactly right. It's good that is the rivalry right after, just in case things go bad. And you know what? Things might not go bad against the Hawks. I mean, they can lose and still have a good game, right?
Yeah.
They can lose and still have a lot of great performances from the Captain Crippses and all the youth that's on that team before they go into Collingwood. Let's go to the next slide. Because I put this one in because we've had a lot of movement in the ladder the last couple weeks, right? So I kind of cribbed this from the AFL website just as sort of a graphical representation of the last 5 weeks, the form, as it were, of the teams.
Yes.
And you can see clearly what's going on with a lot of these teams. I mean, there's Carlton, a lot of green.
Yep.
7 in a row, but in the last 5 weeks, 4 wins and a bye. We talked about the Suns and how they have just they've self-destructed basically. And look at that, LLLLL. I mean, what do you expect? I mean, I don't remember a team falling as fast and as far as Gold Coast.
Especially and then you got the expectations and adding Christian Petrarca.
Well, and you know what? I saw either a story or something this week that said, what's wrong with Christian Petrarca and his stat lines? Well, where have you been? Where have you been? This has been like this the last 6 weeks.
Yep.
Who else on here tickles your fancy? Hawthorne, kind of surprised me. We forget about we were talking up the Hawks,
Mhm.
and then they just have that absolute stinker last weekend against the D's. They got a couple losses in that last 6, yet they're still in third, right?
And look at Brisbane.
Sydney, who's probably played the worst of all the top 6, still has a bunch of green,
Yeah.
right?
Look at Brisbane. Brisbane's right there. 4 wins and a bye.
Brisbane, hot as anything. They continue. I think they scored 126 this week. I mean, they are putting the ball through the posts a lot.
Yes.
A lot. There's Adelaide. There's the D's. Collingwood. We didn't think they would even be close to the wild card round. We saw them going the way of the Suns, right?
Yeah. As soon as Jamie Elliott got hurt, I thought they were done. But Nick Staycock is carrying him on his back, and
3 in a row now.
Great. Yeah.
3 in a row now. Yeah. Brownlow winner, by the way, right?
Yeah. Oh, has to be.
Yeah.
Has to be.
Yes. Wait till you see the graphic at the end and see his lead now in the coaches poll for the coaches award.
Yeah.
I mean, they might as well just get, again, barring injury. And that's the other thing with Carlton, right? Barring injury.
Yes.
Stay healthy, Blues.
And they have so far, knock on wood.
Yeah.
And they might get Jacob Wiedering back, the one guy who has been hurt, to solidify the back end. Harry Dean didn't play last week because of something minor. He should be back. So that'll help them on the back end. And they've been a great defensive team during the 7-game streak. So that'll definitely help them.
Yeah. Yeah. There's North in there. They were hot until this past weekend. St. Kilda's up and down. The Giants, even though they had that upset, they got a bunch of red. I mean, none of these teams right now are in places they don't deserve.
Although the one to watch out for, and I think you have them on the next slide, is your number 15 team right here.
Well, actually, I put them on the back end with the so yeah, we're right. We'll talk about Port. I was curious about Port. I put them on the back end with the ladder, so we will talk about them. But you're right.
Yes.
And I feel like we talk about them every week because of the way their season has gone, how they are the hard luck story of the entire season. AFL 2026. Sitting there at 15th. But much like Carlton, just 4 weeks ago, they are 2 games back of the wild card.
Yep, you were ready
with a good percentage, right?
Yeah, yeah.
With 7 games to go.
They got 24 points or 2 wins basically out of the 10th spot.
Yeah.
And if they keep playing like that, they could make it. They could sneak in.
That's the other thing I like about this ladder is that this is what breeds the unpredictability, I think, is that it's a log jam.
It really is.
I mean, when we show the ladder graphic later on, I've started putting those arrows in with the teams, and it's just it's crazy. It's crazy some of the movement. I mean, I think Brisbane has moved up 4 spots the last 2 weeks.
Yeah. And that just
Gold Coast, I think, has dropped 5 in the last 2 weeks. That's how unpredictable things are right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say they can't drop that much more, I would imagine. I'm trying to see where they are here, but yeah, they could continue to drop with losses, but there's not many. Once you get Port might be the only team that catch them. I don't know if Western has enough points to be able to catch up to Gold Coast.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
Western's got 16.
Yeah,
so
or West Coast. Yeah,
or West Coast. So when you start talking about West Coast, Richmond, and Essendon, they're pretty much the bottom of the barrel. And what did you say this week about Essendon? They look like they've given up.
Oh yeah, they're just not even. It looks like they're not even competing. It's just. They're going out there and getting rolled every time they play. And, at the opposite with the way they're playing for their interim caretaker coach, I must say.
Yeah.
They're just the effort just really, I know they're getting players back. They're supposed to be getting healthier. And I thought maybe they'd be one of these teams that could play the role of spoiler down the stretch.
So did I.
But boy, they're just not even, it's not even competitive in these games. And I don't know what they do the rest of the year, but you got 7 games left, and they haven't done anything.
Yeah. I know I was hoping that maybe they're just not in sync because they're getting these players back. They're getting new players back every week.
Yeah.
It doesn't appear to be that way though. It just
No.
it's just and the stories keep being written about why is it not working at Essendon? And and of course the natural comparison is to what's going on at Carlton, which probably is not fair in the least to compare those two. I mean, that's like apples and tanks, I think.
But it's the situation, the hand you're dealt with right now.
I mean, as much as I respect what's going on with the Blues, I mean, a 7-game win streak after getting rid of your coach with a caretaker has to be an outlier. You enjoy it while it's happening, of course. You're not going to give it back. But let's be real. It's an outlier. It's an outlier like the third quarter of Greater Western Brisbane. It's an outlier like the first half of Melbourne Hawthorn. But again, you're not giving it back. You're going to enjoy it. You're going to use it. You're going to make it happen for yourself. And there's Essendon. Not the same situation. Maybe some similarities here and there. But they're going to win the Spoon, right? I mean, that's
where they're going.
That's a foregone conclusion at this point, I think.
Yeah, unless Richmond somehow, I don't know if they play each other again, but unless somehow they, play each other, and I don't know. It's either them or Richmond. I think West Coast has cleared itself of spoonship, but
I think so too. And they did it early on because, lately, they've been competitive. But I mean, since they won those 4 games in the first 8 or 9 weeks of the season, 10 weeks of the season, they really haven't been the same team, which is fine because again, nothing was expected of these guys. They weren't supposed to win a game all year. So good for them. I love that this ladder has 15 teams out of 18 that are trying to get to that top 10. And you know what? For the crotchety old people out there who still hate the wild card, that would not be possible without another 2 spots up for grabs, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, would not be possible. So 7 weeks to go.
And you look at 9 and 10, one's on a 3-game winning streak, one's on a 7-game winning streak.
Yeah.
That gives you all the reason for optimism right there.
Yeah. And I hadn't thought about that way when you brought that up earlier that, maybe 7 and 8, which is important. Like you said, now you're hosting the wild card game.
Yep.
That makes all the difference. Although, let's see, Victoria, across Victoria. So, although that gets me to thinking, you start looking at the Victoria teams and you start thinking about that NFL game right in the middle of the finals. MCG ground crew. Let's get it.
Gonna be earning your money.
Let's get it. Okay. 15 teams we can still talk about for the last 7 weeks. And this is why we love this sport.
That's right.
Even though we're shooting blanks. Yeah, let's move on. Hey, Stock Watch.
The famous Stock Watch.
I was really curious to see what you were going to send me this week for Stock Watch because, like I said, with as unpredictable as that weekend was, you could have gone about 50 different directions with this.
I really could have.
And I think you did go a good 6 directions with this.
I'm trying to remember what I sent you. Okay, I got my little list here.
You got your cheat sheet?
My cheat sheet.
Well, I mean, once you see who pops up, you'll bang it off automatically. Yeah. But I mean, you could have gone anywhere
there was
this
a lot
week,
of different ways to go.
You could have gone anywhere except for one position, which was too obvious to pass up. We'll get there. We'll get there, folks. All right, let's see the first one.
Okay.
Down arrow, first one, as we always do.
Jeremy
Cameron from Geelong.
Amazingly, the former Coleman winner, having a kind of up and down season. I believe he went 0-0, no goals, no behinds against Brisbane, and I think he maybe only had 4 touches or something like that. He was so far down, it was unbelievable, and just totally unlike him. And it makes you wonder if he's still completely healthy. Just the way he's been. He got banged up in that grand final last year, and he really hasn't been the same guy since. I mean, he had a 10-goal game. But other than that, he's down. When he's down, he's really down. And this week he did. When playing against Brisbane in a rematch, he just didn't show up.
And I know that opponents are going to blanket him, and for good reason. Whether he's 100% or not, they're going to blanket him. But 4 touches. That's harsh.
Yeah.
That's harsh. All right, let's see the next one.
Okay. Our Hawthorne Hawks.
Well, I mean, this is not a surprise, is it?
I wouldn't think so, but you're talking about a team, as we mentioned earlier, that had the easiest strength of schedule the rest of the season, comes out and lays an egg against Melbourne, and I mean, still holding on to third, but
not just any egg.
To move up.
Yeah, not just any egg. I mean, they laid like an ostrich egg.
Yeah.
Over the weekend. I mean, I'm not saying the D's are going to have an easier game this year, but there was no way I was going to be awake for it, because America 250 was the next day. Happy birthday, United States of America, 250 years. But I did wake up like around 1 a.m. and I was curious. And I opened the app and saw the score. And it was like 112-22. And I thought, I'm still sleeping. I'm starting to like poke myself. Wake up. This can't be real. It was real. They were up 92 at one point.
It was crazy.
Again, I was going to say, again, I feel we jinx teams on this show. We put these teams. My hand is over here and you can't see it. I'll put it here. We put these teams on pedestals.
We've done it with Western. We've done it with Adelaide. We've done it with these guys.
Unlike Carlton, who never lets you down.
Carlton doesn't let you down.
These other teams, they fall off these pedestals like nothing. We did it for, like you said, we did it for Hawthorne, we had Western. Yeah. I mean, the list is long at this point.
Doesn't take much more than a little flick of the finger and they go tumbling over like Humpty Dumpty.
And I feel like the pedestal is like 6 feet high.
Yeah.
The fall is precipitous.
Yes, it is.
All right, let's go to the next one.
And our next one, I think we might have some video footage to accompany.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can make this. AFL match reviews. Now, Joe has some thoughts on this.
We've now, and you would think, okay, but it's because we had the big blow up here. We had 27 people fined. We had a suspension. Yeah. That's not. I'm glad they did that. They deserve to do that. But I'm talking about in the Sydney game against Western, the incident where Errol Golden, he got penalized. They got lost a free kick. Didn't get fined that I could tell. Certainly didn't get suspended. And let's just take a look here. If I can do this real quickly.
I shouldn't be laughing. This isn't funny. And I'm with you on the melee that happened. Although I think the AFL soft-footed it by just handing out a lot of fines. I mean, I realize it was $41,000 worth of fines, but I mean, I don't think there's any deterrence in a lot of those. And that's the problem I have. The problem I have is that there was only one suspension. So, I mean,
and
I feel like what the AFL did was like, duh, I mean, we have to punish these guys. We have to punish everybody in the melee. We don't want melees, but the punishments, again, they just seem so light. Anyway, I'm sorry, Joe. Go ahead.
But yeah, I was just gonna say it's you've seen that like in the NFL games with like Myles Garrett swinging the helmet at Mason Rudolph,
yes,
where he deserved to get suspended, and then everybody got fined that was on the field, and that was like a record number of players that got fined or whatever. Yeah, you should be fined for being part of a melee, but you do need to stop it. You do need to get the instigators out of there. How this guy here gets crushed, and I'm gonna play the video.
This is pretty egregious.
Yes, let's watch
pretty egregious to be ignored.
Find a team lifting goal. Waitman's kick is fading away to the right. And misses. And floors him. He'll get another shot. That is just undisciplined.
Was given.
Completely unnecessary. Another shot from the same spot. Yeah.
Free kick's been paid.
I like how the first description was undisciplined.
It's where the kick would be taken
like,
from
boom, he's fixing his socks.
I was going to say.
Incident happened. It's a greater advantage.
I mean, he never sees him coming.
No.
Norton goals. Dogs back within. The manager.
It just.
And he banged it through, and that was ignored.
Yeah.
Am I right on that? That was ignored by the league this week?
I couldn't see any evidence of a fine.
Yeah.
And I looked all over the place. No fine, no suspension. And now I know these guys roughhouse before games and stuff, and they do it, after certain plays.
Sure,
pushing and shoving, and
I guess that's part of the appeal, right?
Yeah,
it is a physical game.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pushing and shoving. There are very rarely are there closed fists, and I think it's because they know, even though the AFL may appear they're slow footing some of these punishments, if you do closed fist, you're done.
Yeah.
You're right. You're gonna get trashed for it.
Well, and I look to what we're watching now in FIFA, the World Cup. You do something like that, you're getting a red card, and you're missing the next game.
Right.
I just was stunned that this guy did not get anything.
That's crazy. And to be fair, it may still be addressed. For all we know, it's being addressed while we're doing this show.
Yeah.
We do this show on Monday evening here on the East Coast, and a lot of news happens AFL wise Monday night, Tuesday morning, Tuesday night, as far as, in relative time to us, I guess I want to say. Yeah. So we'll see, but you're absolutely right on this. And again, I don't know the rationale for not hanging at least a fine on this, but it goes back to how arbitrary it seems. I don't want to put all of refereeing into it, but there's just this arbitrary streak underneath all of it that you feel like you got to deal with when you see the melees and this action. And there were a couple more referee shoves, incidental shoves this week that may result in big fines. The league hasn't said yet, but it's out there. There's this underlying streak of an arbitrary nature to all these punishments.
And I will say they did come out very quickly with the fines and the suspensions for that brawl.
Yeah, and I think they had to, right?
Day.
I mean,
well, I think so.
That was pretty high profile.
It was, but this also happened, I think, on the same day. So if you could act fast on one, why can't you act fast on the other? And
agreed.
Get them done.
Agreed. All right, let's move on. Let's go to the green.
The stock up.
Hey, there he is, Maxie.
He really was, and I could have gone a lot of different ways for a guy from Melbourne off this. And I felt when you put that kind of punishment on another team, you deserve to have somebody represented. And he was the guy that set the stage. I mean, he was just all over the place, dominated in the first half as they built
as he's done all year, especially in the second half of games.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think Jacob Van Ruin had 5 and a minor.
Yeah.
In what even though it was 30 points, it's still a blowout. I mean, it wasn't even close to 30 points. That matchup. Van Ruin had 5 and a minor. Like I said earlier, Latrell's back. Latrell Pickett's back. He had a couple of goals. Kasaya was up there in disposals and kicks.
Bailey
Maxey, I
Bush had
think,
a
was
bunch,
yeah. And I think Maxey was what, 2 or 3
maybe.
as far as fantasy points for the game, both
Yeah.
teams. Yeah. Yeah,
he was good.
definitely deserving of stock watch this week. Absolutely,
Yeah.
no question.
Not playing
question.
his age, that's for sure.
That's right. Or his hairline, for that matter. I still love your comment when we did that way back. I can't believe you had hair. All right, let's go to the next one.
Okay. Jake Stringer, another one.
Jake Stringer.
When you pull the big upset of the year and end a 14-match
Yeah.
losing streak, you got to get somebody on there. And Jake Stringer, career high 7 goals.
Wow.
I think he entered with maybe he was in the 20s somewhere, but add 7 to that total. Not a guy that's kind of known to be the catalyst for them. I usually think of Toby Green when it comes.
So
to
he
that.
was averaging just over like a goal a game.
Yeah, or something like that. And now he piled on 7, and he was the big star for them. And he got them back into the hunt. And he's an easy reason to put on our list. Yeah,
and again, we're not going to put them on a pedestal this week because we know what happens. But I mean, you got to start talking about the Giants again.
Yep.
I mean, you don't. Now they have on their resume this year. They've got that big quarter against Brisbane. They've got an upset at the top of the ladder. I mean, how are they not in the conversation at this point? And as I recall, was it even as recently as last week they were in the red of the stock watch? Was it last week or the week before, something like that? It wasn't that long ago.
It might have been in the way they played.
We had the Giants trending down.
Yeah.
Again, the unpredictability of this season. I think there are examples. Examples of it everywhere. All right, so here's the spot. Like I said, you could have gone 50 different ways. You did great work on this week, but there was one spot that was absolutely non-negotiable. Let's see it.
And I don't know any other way. I don't know what else is left to say, but here we go. The Baggers.
I made a mistake here. The logo's not big enough. I should have stretched that baby across everybody.
Yeah.
Because again, Stewie, I'm sorry. They are the talk of the league. This is the best. This is the biggest and best story in the league right now, bar none.
And
if they can find a way to knock off Hawthorn this week, oh my God!
Just imagine, we'll run out of superlatives to tell them if they can beat Hawthorn. I mean, it's just
and I think we start to run out of patience with the narrative that Josh Frazier is not ready for the job, or Josh Frazier is not considered, should not at this point not considered for the job. Because I think that narrative is running thin to begin with, as it is.
Oh, and
I
don't see how he can't be considered for this.
Well,
and again, like you pointed out a couple weeks ago, maybe he just said, "Let me focus on this, keep my name out of it."
Which would be the smart thing.
Yeah,
that's the smart thing to do, right? I mean, that's exactly what you want.
Yep. And I love that he goes about his business wearing his hoodie, kind of looking like a poor man's Bill Belichick, getting it done. And he's kind of known for wearing that hoodie, and he just looks like every man that's trying to do what's right to help his team win. And he's not flashy. He's not one of these coaches that's dominating press conferences and stuff. He seems like he's very even keeled. And I've enjoyed watching him get this team prepared.
Yeah, you and the rest of Baggers Nation, and I just love the fact, Joe, that you're not a bandwagon on this one. I mean, you may not have been following the sport as closely the past 5, 10, 15 years, but you told me last March, two Marches ago, your team was the Blue, right?
Right.
Those were your boys.
And I'm still with them.
And you
wasn't going to give up on them.
Well, they never let you down.
They even when they were 1-8. Yeah.
They never let you down. And I gotta be honest, I don't know if I could have had the mental stamina you had at 1-8. I mean, I would have been throwing the season away. Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about something else. No, you've been steadfast.
But
You've been
I
steadfast. You and a lot of other fans, a lot of other Carlton fans, steadfast. Yeah. You deserve this 8-8. You deserve this 8-8, and you deserve a game past the regular season.
I hope it happens. And you just wanted to see how Josh Frazier could do. Well, in not even knowing who he was, just with once I got rid of Michael Voss, wanted to see how they could do with another voice in there. And it's been remarkable, and it's it's rewarding my faith, and it's giving me reason to get up on these crazy hours over these weekends to watch this team play.
That's right. So that's Stock Watch for this week, and again, Carlton, an overwhelming, if there is such a thing on this chart, on number 1.
Yes,
on the Stock Watch. So let's go back to the results of last week. Let's look at the games coming up this week. Again, so we got some bangers. We're getting to the point now with so many teams with stakes in this thing. I mean, almost every game is important. There's Brisbane, 123 this week. Would it surprise you that the last 4 weeks they are the highest scoring team in the league?
Not at all.
470 points.
Jeez.
In the last, they're averaging what, like 116.
That's amazing.
Yeah. They are on a heater too. You don't ignore. I thought Western, they put up a bigger fight.
I would too. Sydney. I did too. And
but they lose pretty handily.
Yeah, and Sydney kind of bounced back where we were a little concerned for them, and maybe they're getting prepared.
Well, I mean, we did kind of theorize that they could wake up again at any time.
Yeah,
maybe this is it, because Western's not a bad side. Western is what, I think 8th right now in the ladder. And they've been in that 7-8 part. Ever since they were able to get themselves off the dirt and get themselves back into the conversation, right?
Yeah.
There's Adelaide against West Coast. There's that Melbourne win. There's the upset of the week as the 14-game winning streak is over for Freo. There's the Suns in a close one. But Collingwood.
Still a big L.
Yeah. Still a red circle on that graphic from before. And then there's your Blues that, boy, did they make it interesting at the end.
Too interesting.
I mean, Richmond had a chance to win it.
Yeah.
Possession near the final horn. But like we were saying, a win is a win.
That's right.
And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7.
Right? There's your Bombers. I don't want to say they're waiting for the season to end, but I mean, yeah.
You got 7 left. You can't push it in now. You got to show some kind of fight, don't you?
And Nasaya, by the way, Nasaya has been a monster.
Yes.
The last 4 weeks. What do you have? He had I think 47 disposals this past week.
It was unbelievable.
A career high, I think, for him, and I think he set a career high the game before.
Yeah, he's been.
So he's just been unbelievable, and we talked about how he needs help. He needs a little bit of help if they're going to make a charge.
Yeah, and with him playing like that, they could force their way back into the mix.
Yeah, I think you're right.
The injuries they've had.
I think you're right. And then there's Port, and we're going to talk about Port here in a second after we go through the schedule. Port doing the Blues the biggest favor of the week.
Oh, definitely.
And knocking the Roos off. They're still 15th. They're still sitting there with what, 20 points? Mm-hmm. 24 points. 24 points, I think. I think they have 6 wins now.
Yeah.
They are an interesting study. We're going to get to that in just a second. Here's the fixture for this week. Thursday night game. The only game that could be Thursday night footy this week. It's 1 versus 2. Freo and Sydney. Dockers 14.5, which I did forget to update these lines for today. So these are the opening lines.
Yeah.
So none of these are going to be right, but they are in the general area. So we'll go with it, right? A 2-score spread.
Yeah,
For the
Frio is at home, man. One thing is, I'm going to try to set the alarm and get up Thursday morning to watch this one.
And yeah, I mean that's worth it,
10 a.m.
right?
Yeah, I mean, this
Yeah,
is
that's
the one
totally worth
it. And see. Could be a grand final preview.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. So that's Thursday night footy. Friday night footy is Collingwood and North, and that's huge.
Yeah,
That's a huge game.
That has wild card implications because if North
Yeah.
loses, they're
Yeah.
they've got one of the toughest schedules left, and they lose this game to Collingwood, and that's going to really push them back.
Oh yeah, that's going to be bad. That's going to be bad. 18.5.
Well, I can see that, I guess, the way North's been playing lately.
Yeah. Port and St. Kilda. And St. Kilda 9.5-point favorite.
Yeah, to me, they're two evenly matched teams. This is almost like a play-in game. To whoever loses probably not relevant.
I thought that's exactly how I thought about it earlier today. I was sitting here thinking about some of these graphics. I feel like a lot of these right now are qualifiers.
Yeah.
Right? For the wild card round.
Yeah.
To get in and then play a playoff game. Saturday, Geelong and the Giants. Does Greater Western keep the magic going? 9.5-point dogs.
I'd be tempted to take Geelong and give the points at this one, but you just never know with either of these teams. You don't know who's going to show up on a given.
Again, the unpredictability that this league has shown the last 6 weeks is crazy. There's your Blues, 14.5 dogs against Hawthorn.
I like the
at
14
the MCG.
Yeah, I like the 14.5. Don't know if they can pull it out, but it'll be a fun one to watch. And that is a 5:35 a.m. game on Saturday. I thought it was a Friday night game. Oh well, I guess I'll be getting up early on Saturday as well.
I think that's probably even better for you, right? I mean,
true.
I'm just saying. Adelaide and Gold Coast at AO. We didn't talk much about Adelaide this week, and that's fine because they probably don't want us to the way things are going. But the Crows are up there, 16.5-point favorites. The way the Suns are playing, I don't know if that's enough.
Yeah, this is a chance for the real dagger right into the Suns and just send them into oblivion. Which is a shame because that was my adopted team. That was my adopted team last year.
Yeah, and they such high hopes.
Yeah,
going into this season. Western and West. The last game here on Saturday, 36.5.
Yeah, way West Coast is playing. I think Western should cover that 36, especially if they're itching to, make a statement.
Well, yeah. I mean, depending on how much they're smarting from that thumping they took against Sydney last week. Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. The D's on Sunday, 41.5-point favorites against the Tigers. Richmond, they're not good.
No.
I mean, that's duh. Okay, they're not good. They're 17th of 18 teams. Duh. I got it. But there are some games where they get a little bit of a roll, like they did this past week against Carlton.
They have a tendency to keep it close, especially when they're playing Carlton. And there are other games where they keep it close. So 41.5. I'm almost thinking, and please don't let me bet against my D's, but my God, 41.5. It's a lot of points.
Whew. And then Brisbane, Essendon to end the weekend. 60.5 was the opening line. Is there any temptation to go with the Bombers?
There's a little bit because of the fact. I think we discussed this. I firmly believe the margin will be greater than 60.5 at some point in this game.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of whether Brisbane wants to keep pouring it on or if they ease up and let Essendon come back in and get over that. So I would think Essendon has a chance to cover that, But no, I have a feeling Brisbane's going to jump out to a huge lead, and then it's just a matter of how they want to toy with them at the end.
I love that's the narrative. That's the spin you put on that. If you go to the next slide, because we can talk about that. We can talk about Brisbane's percentage right now.
And we also have to mention that game is at the Gabba.
Oh my God! You're right. Well, let me set you up. Joe, where's that game?
The Gabba.
Yeah, the Gabba. My apologies. I was in a hurry. I see recording 105, and I'm like, oh my God, we did it again. Here's the ladder. Here's the ladder. Brisbane sitting there at 111.7, just ahead of Adelaide.
Yep.
Same number of points. I mean, a blowout is important this week for them.
It is, and they can still get ahead of Hawthorn. They have a very similar percentage to them too. So yeah, you want to solidify and get that. I don't know if you can try to make up that much ground with Sydney or Freo, but you want to you want to try to get the third spot for sure.
I mean, look at those percentages with 2 points separating four teams.
Yeah.
110, 111.7, 111.4, 106.3. I mean, and we've seen easily swings of 3, 3.5, 4 percentage points in a game. So when you're favored by 6, yeah. So when you're favored by 60.5, I mean, you should take advantage, and you should not take your foot off the gas in the fourth quarter.
You shouldn't. I don't know if Chris Fagan's that type of coach or not. We'll see.
But I mean, he has to look at this and know, right?
I would think so, but I think he also wants to try to keep his players healthy. So maybe that's a factor in it as well. Get those guys out of there and get some of the backups.
Boy, that's a hell of a balancing act with 7 games to go.
Yeah.
Knowing where you are in that top 6.
Yeah.
Geelong taking the biggest hit, down 3 spots, and they now fall into the wild card area. Western just seems to be treading water, and they might be happy with that because that's a home game.
Yeah.
Again, Victoria, but home game.
Mm-hmm.
Collingwood moves up 1. There's your Blues. They move up 2. The Roos of that loss fall out of the wild card spot. Kilda moves up 1. Greater Western moves up 1. Gold Coast because
they're Gold Coast.
Because they're Gold Coast right now. Yeah. I mean, is there any other way to describe it? They dropped 3 spots.
Yeah.
To number 14. And then there's Port Adelaide. I told you we were going to circle back to them. The Power. The Power at 15. And for the longest time, we talked about the top 14 teams and how they should be considered as far as a playoff berth and whatever like that. So I got curious. I had done the Carlton graphic. I got curious. I said, "What if? What if?" And I did this graphic, and I went, "Oh God." Power surge question mark. This is where Stewie hammers me this week. I think. Look at that schedule.
3 winnable games before against some of your
1,
top
2, 4, and 6 for now.
Yeah.
Right? But still, you're playing 4 of the top 6 in the last 7 weeks. You are 2 games behind with 7 to go. Your percentage is decent.
Yes.
102.5 DVE.
Let's go back. Yes, there's our percentage.
102.5 DVE. If you know, you know. But yeah, my curiosity kind of ended when I put this together. I mean, I'm all for Port, given the hard luck season they've had. I am all for them jumping over. That's the other thing. They've got 4 teams to jump over. They got to get past the Suns. Maybe not a challenge. Okay. But they got to get past Kilda. They got to get past Greater Western. They got to get past North.
Then probably Carlton if they're going to try to get 10.
Maybe Carlton. Maybe Collingwood if they falter.
Yep. And it's amazing that you think about it. They're 6-12, but
Yeah.
yet they've scored more goals than they've given them.
Yeah. They're 6-12, and yet still only 2 games out of 10th place.
Yeah.
And this is where the Codgers get you, right? There's no reason why a team 6-12. There's no reason why a team that's only won a third of its games should be talking about a playoff berth. That's ridiculous. Shaking fist at the clouds. That's where they get you on this one. This is the example. But then, of course, they're in 15th place. Okay? They're closer to the bottom.
Yes.
Place-wise, old codger. Closer to the bottom than to the wild card spots. But I was curious. Because they're 6-12. They're not a bad side.
They're not. They're really not a bad team at all.
They're kind of tailor-made for a wild card round type thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, if they lose to St. Kilda this week, none of this matters, right? I mean, if 7 games there, they have to win this week.
Yeah,
they have to win in week 21. They have to beat Essendon.
Yeah.
You know, and then what? They need probably 2 of 4.
Yeah, they have to split against those top 4 teams.
Maybe
they've got to at least split.
Maybe 5-2 is what we're talking about.
Yeah,
finish 5-2. That would make them 11-14.
Yeah, possible.
44 points.
Mm-hmm.
We're assuming as long as they don't get blown out by, say, Freo or Brisbane or Sydney or the D's. So 44 points, hopefully a decent percentage. I don't know. Like I said, I was curious with a little bit of a smile and a bounce in my step, optimistic, and then I put this together. I went, well, maybe not this year.
Yeah,
maybe not this year. Next slide, please.
Oh, I wasn't sure if we had another or not. Yes, there we go.
Of course, we need to talk about the disposals.
I see it is correct this week.
It is corrected this week, so that's good. Nick Dacos is running away with this.
Yeah.
Up 25 now with 7 to go. Again, barring injury.
I don't see how he doesn't win.
The AFLCA Champion Player of the Year. How he does not win Brownlow.
Yeah.
You look over to the right. He still has a healthy lead in disposals.
Over Harry Sheasel. Love that name.
That's a great name. Even though he's a Roo. It's a great name. It's a great name. He still leads in score involvements.
Wonder what Harry Sheasel thinks about nuffies.
I would think that he does not have much time for them.
Probably wouldn't.
Because they're obnoxious. They are ill-mannered. I can't remember what the words were here. Hold on a second. Let me go back. Go back to the beginning. Obsessive. That's what it was. Not obnoxious. Obsessive. Overzealous supporter. He's probably like, you know what? We got enough fans. We don't need nuffies or Richard Craniums.
Yes.
We don't need these people. Ill-informed, biased, absurd.
The other thing that stands out to me here is, and he temporarily led in the race for the Coleman, Charlie Curnow at one point was ahead of Ben King, but then Ben King's game played and he moved back ahead of him. But Charlie Curnow back to form in his first year with Sydney. Yeah. And again,
that's a race now. That's a race.
It's a race, and he benefited from a change of scenery leaving Carlton, and Carlton is, right now doing okay without him.
And he started. Correct me if I'm wrong. He started so slow.
He had a couple in that first game of the year in the second half against Carlton. Then he I think he had another good game. Then he had some injury issues, and he might have sat a game or two. Then it took him a while to get going, but now he's back, and for a guy that supposedly has knee problems, he looks like he's beyond that now.
Charlie Curnow, second in goals. Ben King, of course. Ben King has been leading for what? 6, 7, 8 weeks at this point.
Yeah.
And it really hasn't been a horse race until now. But there you are.
Ben King was my money man last year, late in the year for Gold Coast and in the playoffs for first goal. He would always seem to be the guy that got the first goal. But again, last week,
why haven't you been putting the $2 on him this year?
Well, it's last week. Kings, for whatever reason, did not allow any first goals, but betting, wagering.
Hey,
they had game, and I didn't see it this week either. I'm still trying to figure it out. Maybe they'll add it in, but I haven't seen it, and I'm not happy about that.
I'm with
Maybe they're losing money.
It's a crazy thing what's going on over there.
Yeah.
We're at the point now. It's there's not much explanation to it. I mean, it's just
the way they do it.
Yeah. Do you have any final thoughts? Any final thoughts this week?
Final thought.
I really don't either. I was gonna talk a little World Cup. I was gonna say, good job, Socceroos.
Yeah. Got
to the knockout round. I saw stories this week about how, because of their success in this World Cup, that more money is going to be sunk into soccer, football in Australia. I'm sure the gap between footy and soccer is wide, despite the popularity of soccer worldwide.
I would think so too.
But they seem to be an up-and-coming side on the world stage. And to get to the final 32, there are 200 and I think FIFA counts 211 national teams worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
And you figure they had to go through qualifying. They had to get through the group stage. I mean, they lost 2-0 to the United States side and had an own goal in that game.
Yeah.
So good for the Socceroos.
They have reason to be happy about their performance. And, as of right now, we've got a couple hours, an hour and a half left. We still have the U.S. in it. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
By the time this gets posted out to the world, we'll see if the U.S. is still playing. But it's an exciting tournament.
It's been great.
Yeah,
it's been great. There have been so many. There have been so many cliffhanger moments.
Mm-hmm.
Not to let the end of the show be taken over by the World Cup, but it is important. I mean, billions of people care about this. I mean, is there anything else in the world other than money that more people care about? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then when you see matches like Argentina and Cape Verde.
Cool.
Cape Verde, Argentina is the top-ranked team in the world. They're the defending cup champ. And they get taken to the absolute limit by the team that's number 67 in the world.
Yep. In the smallest country, I guess, in the 32.
You don't get that anywhere else.
No. Hey, I will leave you with this. Do you know the band Hanson, who their favorite World Cup player is?
I do not.
Mbappe.
Oh my God. Is that the first time we ended the show with a dad joke?
Probably. Might be the last.
Footy dad is what that is.
On today. I will probably on the 4th. I don't have it on today.
Mbappe. That's horrible.
And I came up with that one all on my own.
You know what? Good for that. You know what? That's one of the better dad jokes you've had. We have another name for his jokes. I won't say it here on the air. It's a little colorful.
Yeah.
But as far as dad goes, that's.
Thank you.
On that note, that's our show for this week. You can catch us on YouTube. You can watch us Oh my God, an hour and 20. How did we go an hour 20 today? I didn't think we had that much. Catch us on YouTube. WTF, What the Footy. You can catch us on Twitter at WTF, What the Footy. Go for my picks. Tail them and weep. If you tailed this week, you are crying all the way. 3 and 6. I'll try and do better for you this week. Facebook, WTF What the Footy. We're on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, WTF What the Footy. And apparently, as some people noticed this week, we're also on Instagram at WTF What the Footy. Check us out on any of these social media outlets. Throw us some love, throw us some hate. We appreciate it all.
Well,
For
and
Joe
see if
Runner.
we'll see if we can build on our following, our meager following this week.
13,000 views on schedule strength. I can't wait to see what clips you
Go
put up
figure.
this week to
Yeah.
poke the bear. For Joe Runner, I am Richard Cranium. See you next time.
Showtime.
Showtime. Mbappe. Oh, come on.
I dropped that one on the fourth watching it, and I just got stares like, what? And of course,
that is a joke that requires a certain audience.
yes, a little older audience too, not mid-30 and under.
I thought that was a serious question too. I thought, hey, here's a fun fact we're going to end the show with. Mbappe. You know what the sad thing is? I mean, I love that dad. Obviously, I love that dad joke.
Yeah.
If I were to say that joke at work, and I got to tell you, these kids totally locked into World Cup.
Yeah.
They're talking about it all the time, right?
Yeah.
What are the chances they know what or who Hansen is?
Oh,
Ugh.
probably not at all.
Yeah. That joke would fall flat.
Yeah.
Fall about as flat as Western. Mbappe. Oh my God.
See, I'm glad I didn't beforehand. I had your genuine reaction.
Say goodnight, Gracie.
Good night, Gracie.
Gracie.